What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 27 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Sceolan / Winterheart Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, Orion's wild hunt came out in full force to trample the army of Scalpig, I don't remember the rogue army name, which was pretty darn fun seeing almost a Bretonnian-like army with just a huge charging pile of cavalry. And Ryan will probably have a few more battles coming his way in the next couple of turns, as between the episodes I was taking a look at all of the different magical forests and trying to decide which of the rituals we want to pop next, since there were a lot of them and I didn't want to waste the time on screen. I did that off screen and ultimately decided on just popping the ritual of the guy in Vale, partly because we have a physical resistance faction wide buff here, which is quite strong, so we do want to build the Temple of Isha, and partly because Ryan is already here, right? So may as well put him to work. He has to go back to the guy in Vale both to build stuff up and to travel out of here via the world routes. And also we really had to pop these rituals as fast as we possibly can, because that's 8 turns global cooldown, as in none of the other rituals can do anything until that is done anyway, or the time has elapsed. Let's see what we've got coming up next. Ara doesn't need to move, she's waiting in ambush stance, but Dirtok here can pick up this mysterious island, then head on the way to this shipwreck and fell cargo as well, while on the way to deal with these orcs, mostly because we don't want them to take out too many of our high elf friends here. Not that I really care about them, but, you know, we do want their units, so you gotta deal with it. Keeper Delina is a keeper and doesn't need to move. Recruiter, we may want to recruit some more stuff with you, technically speaking, though in practice, we do want to keep as much money as we can while it's spring, so maybe we'll hold off on that for a bit. Thilvokas, yes, so Durthu, you have arrived. Alright, and we want to trade some stuff. Alright, so let's move Durthu in beside Lycobrands, and this looks... No garrison, and Chaos auto-resolvable. If it was 2 armies, I would have fought it, but this is not it. Milnel, I'm gonna have you take Monfort so that Thilvakas and Durthu can trade troops, which is what we've been hankering for. Close victory, medium casualties, really, game? Why are you such a psycho? With the auto-resolve. Anyway, you move right beside Durthu, please. And with the 3 armies, I assume that it'll be low casualties? Yeah, alright. Just to double check that no one will die. I imagine somebody will still get badly damaged, because that's how the game is. Wow. But Milnel's army, admittedly, we also don't care about, so that's good. We'll cede it for now. We may trade it away, but it does have iron, so it is something, and... I mean, I guess you can collect the income, whatever, we'll see about it later. Anyway, Thilvakas, deliver to Durthu at long last, please. The 3 Sisters of AVELORN and the 2 Tree Men. Durthu, you will want to lose your Glade Guard with Starfire Shafts. Definitely the 3 Dryads. The other thing is... I guess you could just lose that Dryad as well. Oh, you're at 20... What? Too many units, huh? Alright, take one of the lower HP Dryads like that, I guess. Alrighty, and this one we can just delete. We need to replace the... Oh, you have the Waystalker, which is going to be with the Sisters of AVELORN. And at 20 out of 20, we want to get rid of 1 Dryad, and then the Spellsinger of Shadows, which is not needed in this particular army. I was going to do 4 Tree Men here. The other option would be if we can acquire a couple of Great Moonbirds for Frostfire, then we could, well, then we'll do so. But again, they're quite expensive at 56 allegiance. Yeah, I mean, it is a tier 4 unit, which does make sense, but I'd really love that weakness to fire damage plus 30% in Durthu's army, since that's the way he decided to go. And it's not like you need to, you know, have too many tree men. They're already pretty darn strong. Anyway, I like the idea of the Sisters of AVELORN here and going more for the tree kin and tree men rather than bothering with the Dryads in this particular army, especially since Durthu buffs those guys. Anyway, I believe we're good here. Who's next? Who's next? Elendilling still not moving. Just keep a guard of the home base there. Lorelorn, you recruiter will need to move, but the world routes are, or deep routes are closed. Felnilsal, you're kind of in the same situation. Tudathus, you, yes, you were proceeding to Myrmidons. Let's see what we got here. Colonization, 713. There it is, full of rats. This doesn't look like a tier 5, though. It is a tier 3. Where the heck did it get build all those elite units? What the heck? Again, it can't be these. 1, 2, 3. Maybe he's back at Skaven Blight, but it looks like he'll have... Huh. Wait, I forget. Is Verms still around? Let me just take a look at Skaven here. Not Slaanesh, Skaven. No, Verms are gone, meaning this is probably also... Oh, he's probably at Ekrund then. Huh. Alright, well, to this, it looks like you have more work to do. Either way, that doesn't change the fact that we'll want to destroy... Yes, this is auto-resolvable. This place, and not worth raising, so we'll seed it, heal up, and at the same time use global recruitment to get back. Really? 2 turns for the Eternal Guard? Huh. Wait, did we not? Oh, we never completed the research for the global recruitment -1 because we had to switch to the Wisdom of the Ash for the diplomatic relations and ammunition. Damn. Well, I don't want to spend 2 turns here. We'll spend the 1 turn, and then we'll grab the Skull Island, maybe even kill Black Buckthorn if at all possible, and then we'll go back. Also, Ruinous, you don't just like us all that much, so I don't see you attacking us. Oh, I'm going to be annoyed if you take the Skull Island, though. We could really use the 20k while it's still spring. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. Decent likelihood Krulk goes for Karakazor as well. Huh. Do we want to just temporarily swap all this stuff to Felnilsol? Huh. And you do have the Esper Eternal Guard. You know what? Do this. Take these guys. And this may not be the army that Felnilsol will use, but it is an army that can still do things. So, you know what? Go do things. Go into raiding stance, raid Kirk Bufdar, and then take it out, and then just double check what's going on out here.
I weave the living forest.
I'd hate to have you just sit there and do nothing, and then the recruiter can get back to recruiting stuff for you afterwards. Anyway, who else do we have this turn? Fedian doesn't need to move. She's also an ambush stance recruiter. The other recruiter is fine. And who is Dulcith again? Oh, it's one of these two. Yeah, you're just gonna wait here until Morgar is gone, basically. By gone, I mean dead. I mean dead for good, which isn't possible, but you know what I mean. Anyway, Tech Thief goes Steel Tech again, and failure this time, but we won't need you guys all that much longer, and I believe that's it. That's the end turn, so skip on by. We're not besieging anything, are we? Well, if we are, it's too late. End turn. Well, let's see if any of those 2 or 3 ambushes that we currently have going will work. What do we have here? An Ara ambush. Well done. And, oh, it's just a... Okay, I'd be happier if it wasn't a pile of garbage goblin laborers, but, you know. Lechbone Pennant on you, and this on you. Auto-resolve? And you should heal up over the end turn anyway. Well, actually, you know what? Let's heal up a little bit. Yeah. And because you don't have a hero that'll increase your healing capacity, and I'd rather you be able to move next turn as well, especially since the ambush is gone and there is still another full stack belonging to the Chaos Dwarfs out there. And on the bright side, with regards to our Ara and sort of modifying her army, we will... What do you want? Oh, trade agreement. Well, that's lovely. And you're willing to give us money? Okay. I like it. Thanks, Kalita. I was actually kind of interested in getting a couple of Bone Giants if we possibly can. It's why I wanted to originally ally with Lord Kerataman, but he really doesn't want to. It does seem that a lot of factions don't seem to want to go straight into the defensive alliance with us, at least not the factions that we want the defensive alliance with, but meh. Also, I was talking about something else, but I've forgotten what it was. Oh, right. Once the global recruitment tech is complete, the good thing is that we can modify Ara's army on the spot. Kazag will attack the western provinces, sure. I feel like whenever you do that, you should get an allegiance bonus. Enemy killed in battle, enemy killed in battle, Dewi Jar Doom, Ara, well, probably a lot of jerks doom. Constructor, Seafarer for Dare Talk, another War Banner, always nice. Magic Drained, I don't know who this is. I can't, like, who made this UI? Why can't I tell who this is? You know what I mean? And if you do this, it'll just zoom to the enemy. Awful. Forest invasion imminent. Oh, right, that's with the newly popped ritual. This one we'll probably not get to. This one we should be able to, though. So forest invasion we'll deal with you in a second. Another Eternal Guard commander. LOREN is not an Eternal Guard army, however, so you don't need that. And You can keep the young stag, I guess, at least for now. Dulcith has a great stag. I wish I knew which Dulcith this is, once again. And, oh, you're in this army. Keep it for now. And if we need to send you elsewhere, then, well, that's what we'll do. Alrighty, oh. And what you doing? Actually, it's starting to look like a pretty good army. Well, Durthu's had some modifications now, so he's free to move towards them. Like so. And there's another little army out here. Morgar's still standing, most likely because there's not much he can do. I don't believe we can reach him immediately, but what we can do... Well, if we raid, he'll run. I wonder if he'll run back to Brienne, though. You know what? Go into raiding. Stay here. I don't want to suffer the attrition. Wait, shouldn't we be immune to chaos attrition? Well, no, we haven't popped that ritual that would allow us to do that yet. Alright, go here. We'll see how Morgar behaves. And Durthu can sit there. Then Milnel or Thilvakos can move to Paravah. I'm gonna say Milnel. The garrison here is already fairly decent as well. And then you're still waiting for more branch rates, and oh, also you were going... I forgot to give these to... Damn it. Waste of some movement, but what can you do? Give these to Milnel. Alright. Then you can, I guess, just sit there for the turn. We need to go back into a magical forest also to get the Winds of Magic Rising. I wish that, you know, with the outposts being as garbage as they are, I wish that they would at least have the function of giving you additional magical Winds of Magic Power Reserve, even without the building that does it. Especially considering it's only +2 per turn. Since the Wood Elves have no channeling stance, just a couple more uses for the outpost and the sort of great cost of keeping them. It would be so lovely. Anyway, yep. Aranessa stole the Skull Island. That's annoying. And completely expected, but it is very annoying. What can you do? Once again, I have a severe dislike of the fact that the AI can interact with those at all and take no damage whatsoever. Like, they basically get it for free. Right under our noses. Oh well, Felnil Sol, go and raise or occupy whatever it is. Carrick Buftar here, obviously this is not fight worthy. This is also very little in the way of money. I guess we're occupying it. It is Heathland here, and it does have lumber, so it's something. You can keep the Scroll of Shielding for now, that will probably transform it into something else. Alright, let's complete this. Get that global recruitment duration reduction, and then let's start going from the top again. So, Ara. Always on top. Go to Silver Pinnacle, I guess? We could wait until it's at the next tier, but there isn't really all that much need for it. And we could also most likely get them to sally out, since the Outer Resolve doesn't seem to like Ara's current army. It keeps saying crushing defeat. Then again, last time they didn't sally out, but who knows? Give them a chance. Alrighty, or, you know what, maybe I should have just gone into ambush stance right here again, and then... Yeah, whatever, too late. Dare talk, you. Where are those greenskins? I assume they've doubled back to the Crucible of Delights. Fair enough. Alright, so first you're gonna go here. And you're gonna sail to the wreck, and you're gonna auto-resolve at the wreck, and you're going to heal up because we need to do it twice in a row. Alright, good. Fair bit to cash. Then we'll go to Felcarga. There's a bunch more islands out here as well. I'd love to stop on by, but we're a little busy. Alrighty, then you're gonna go... Do we want a march stance? I guess we could... Yeah, or full speed stance, whatever. Will we still heal in the Demonium Coast? It looks like we will. So go out here. Oh! Wellity. If it isn't Zajar Brain Basha, let's move towards him, and let's see if he goes for us. I imagine with a pretty elite stack and something of a Wa, maybe a half Wa, he'll at least attempt it. So that means we'll need to level. Dare talk. I think it is at long last time to actually start putting points into your red line. We'll probably get more mileage out of the Bolts of the Forest, simply because the damage is already fairly low on these guys, and the effectiveness of the Treekin is already so high that, yeah. I guess there's also the Dryads to consider, but anyway. Othiodi, what do you have? Also 3 points. Lovely. I'm kind of tempted to go for Retinue Quartermaster and then into Retinue Physician. Oh, right, I forgot about the Ancient Attendant. Yeah, all right, fine, let's go through Ancient Attendant. We just don't have enough Dryads at a high enough level to get too much benefit out of it, but faction-wide growth rate is always worth your time. Orion, you are going to... yes, just be able to reach the imminent invasion here, and I'll level you after this fight, I think. I wonder what faction we'll be encountering here. The invasion of AVELORN, or Gaian Vale rather, is it Chaos? It is Chaos, okay. And it is an ambush. The enemy failed to spot an ambush, however, there's still Chosen, Chaos Knights, Dragon, Ogres, some good stuff here. Let's see how good right now. Alrighty, here we go. Now, because this is a Chaos Force, a slow-moving Chaos Force, I should say, usually what I do here is use Orion's 8 units of range cap to first severely damage the enemy army, while maybe nipping at its heels with the Wild Riders. But since this is not quite a full stack, it's 4 units short of it, we're going to charge everybody in, which means doing massive amounts of damage to the enemy very quickly. Ooh, love these simultaneous bring downs of the 2 dragon ogres, but at the same time, as I was saying, it means that the relatively fragile Wild Riders, I mean, I guess pretty much any Wood Elf unit as a non-forest spirit unit is going to be very fragile. These guys only have 9k HP, for example. They're going to take some damage. And a fair bit of it on a couple of units. These guys are down to half HP. These guys are down to about half HP as well. But at the end of the day, 1 minute in, the balance of power is at about 95% in our favor. Orion has handily defeated the enemy lord in melee, though he could easily have sniped him from range as well. But like I said, I wanted everybody to play in melee, and there we go. Orion brings down the enemy lord, and there with that, the Chaos Army, including the chosen and aspiring champions that still remain, will shatter, and the battle is ours. Just the first one, an appetizer, if you will, as we've got a couple more of these forest invasions to go, and by the time we reach them, it's most likely going to be full stacks. Alrighty, there we go. 19 losses, actually not so bad. 6 of them from one of the aspiring champions units, which, you know, checks out. We did do a fair bit of damage to ourselves, though, as unfortunately, when you pop the dwellers below, it seems... Actually, I can't actually verify that, but what I noticed was that a couple of the units of the Wild Riders, like 1 or 2 of the models from within the unit, got stuck near to the Dwellers Below, and then the entire unit set was affected by the Dwellers Below just by virtue of that one model. If that is indeed the case, and the damage is not only on the unit that is standing in it, that would not be so good. On the other hand, if the damage is only on the unit that is standing in it, we still have the slowdown vortex effect that seems to apply to the entirety of the unit. Interesting. Anyway, we'll heal up either way, so we'll release the captives for a sweet bit of cash. 10k, 14k damage on some of the Sisters of the Thorn, 16k on the Wild Riders with shields, and it looks like they carry the day today. Good for them. And that's the anti-large variant, so I guess it makes sense as there was a fair few large units for them to fight. Alright, release captives. And we killed a Sky Titan string. Very, very nice find. I've been hoping we get one of these for one of our ranged armies. Elven Steed for Akka. I don't know who Akka is. Okay, anyway. Faction destroyed Acolyte of the Keeper, and probably won't be destroyed for long, as I assume that's them here as well. You, Orion. Oh, I was hoping to switch you into March stance, but that ain't happening. Alright, well, just sit here, heal over the next turn or so, and then head on down to where you need to be. Anything else we need to do with you, sir? I don't think so. Actually, wait, I lied. You should not be on an eagle, you should be on a stag. I can't believe they haven't added a lock button for those, for the mounts, I mean, but anyway. Recruiter? You're fine. Sisters of Twilight. Alright, so... you can reach Knobbly Gorge from here. I don't really care about any of these territories, but at the same time, I guess we want to get the Heathland fixed up sooner rather than later. We can always obviously transfer it all over to either the Western Provinces or the Golden Order, depending how that all goes. Frankly, the Golden Order bordering some of the ogres may not be a good thing in the sense that the ogres might... Oh, okay. The ogres might... Wait a moment. Construction cost reduction in adjacent provinces. That should work for the Haunted Forest, right? The ogres might get into a war with the Golden Order since they don't like each other over much, so yeah, I have some concerns. Hopefully they're unfounded, but we'll see. Alright, who's up next? We've got Thilvakas's good Feodyen. How are we doing out here? How did you... Deathmaster Snitch, again, why are you out here? Who are you even at war with? Okay, a little bit annoying that these guys have retaken Castle Alexandrinov already, but I guess we can ignore it for now, and... let me think about this for a second. I did want to check Hellpit again, but these guys are sacking stuff. Alright, go towards Telegas Pulsator here. I think we want to tear down the Tower of Crack. Huh. Alright, we'll try to tear it down next turn. Let's kill Telegast here. Quick little auto. I forgot about this. You know what? Retreat. We gotta give young stag. Oh, wait, but if we retreat, we won't be able to get you again? Yes, we will. Okay. Let's get you a young stag. Oh, you already have a young stag. Do you have a young stag? You do not. Aha. Alright. If I can find... Yeah, okay. I was wondering whether we had a spare. Hopefully that will be sufficient. Come on, don't screw me on this. And yes, alright, there we go. Lucky we actually have... Oh, wow, that's more damage than I was expecting. Luckily we actually have the counter to the seduction, as a lot of factions don't. So, yeah, it's good that we actually have the young stags available to us. Anyway, you can... do you want to ambush, or do you want to... Yeah, you know what, go into ambush, and we'll take down the Tower of Crack next turn. Raise it, in fact, because it's worth a lot of cash. And considering Azazel only has the one settlement, we should thereby weaken the forces of chaos in the general environs by doing so. Alright, who's next? Elendilling doesn't need to move. Recruiter is waiting until spring is over for 4 more turns. Udrika. Wait, you cannot reach Hellpit from here. We should probably at least tear down a few of these to create a greater barrier between us and the, or between Kislev and... Oh, right, we need to go to Plusk as well. Alright, fine, and go to here. Auto-resolve it. 10k raise? I like it. I'm just gonna hope that Kislev can retake it, and... Oh, no, actually, you won't suffer attrition. Good, good, Drika. Hey, we got Deathslinger now. And I'm going to have to try to remember who I wanted to give that to, but it was somebody. Coadil, you don't have regen, do you? Yeah, it might be a decent item for Coadil, in fact, now that I think about it. There's probably other options. We gotta figure out who I want to give that Sky Titan string to. Coadil, you know what? Hold on to the Armor of Destiny. I might take it away from you later, but I'll think about it. Go for Deathslinger, please. Lowers your weapon strength by a fair bit, but regeneration is pretty darn valuable. And you're a big boy with a ton of HP, so we can take advantage of that as well. The effective HP, I mean. Now, I wonder... Okay, you appear to be going for Plesk. Oh, wow, our passive income with you is actually fairly good. Let's double-check our missions. Ah, we had a mission with you. There's Throg. He's all the way out here. Ionar is out here. Oh, you might have a full stack. Watch him go for Erengrad. Alright, let's accept the mission for this guy, because we'll need to deal with him. Nubzub is right beside Dare Talk. Most likely we'll actually go after him, so we'll take that as well. Golden Order, I don't really care, but we'll take the mission. Okay, by virtue of the fact that there's a guy here, we actually should undo the ambush so that you can then proceed to attack the Tower of Kraken. If this guy wants to move to defend it rather than going after Erengrad, that would be quite lovely. You two, go up here and try not to get assassinated this time. Seriously. And it's a full stack. Let's see how it behaves over the next turn. I guess they were the ones that gave it to Castle Alexandrina, but again, if we destroy the faction, then it won't be a problem. Okay, so that's looking reasonably good. Again, who are you at war with out here? You're at war with the Western Provinces and the Sanyo clan. I don't know why or how Deathmaster snitches out here. So he's at war with these guys and the Western Oh, actually, I do know. He probably got a ruin somewhere out here, and thus rebuilt his army out here, but is sailing down, presumably to the only factions he's at war with. A bit of a bizarre situation, but I guess that's the way it works with the rats now. Anyway, Milmel, you're fine. Tudithos, you are not fine. How do we want to proceed with you? I did want to move to burn down these things. There's no more Skull Island to worry about. We could run after Krelk, but we can't catch him, even if we can go after Zarek. So I'm inclined to say world routes on over and try to go after Ekrund and Dragonhorn mines. Maybe even tear down if... Oh, this is also probably full of rats. Alright, well. That's what you're dealing with now. I wonder if you'd be able to recruit in one turn, since Sithari will be finished in one turn. I guess we'll see at the next place that we don't raise. Go here.
Going forth.
Glade Rudders are a bit damaged, but hopefully we'll be fine. Alright, that looks good to me. Oh, actually, I wanted to see something. How's our... Confederation. I was wondering whether that would be up and running now, and it looks like yes, indeed it is. Alright, so we're not at war with these guys, and oh, they probably lost their army. Ooh, I wonder if they have any interesting troops. Are you a malevolent faction or a non-malevolent faction? It looks like they're a regular dryads, probably non-malevolent. Well, either way. Join Confederation, please. Lovely. Alright, and let's see what your tree looks like here. Hey, it's a tier 5? Beautiful. And you have the Azure Armory? Fantastic. Forest of Mists, Confederation. Now, what do we have here? Azerit. So, you can presumably be replaced. Frankly, I don't really care about any of these territories, but whatever. Probably get rid of the Moonstone clearing. You're most likely just going to sit here and act as a guardian of the Varanya's Glade, but we'll see. Master Veteran, annoyance of netlings, hit points, reduction in campaign movement range. Yeah, kinda mad to be perfectly honest. And I think we'll take this stuff away from you. Yeah, I will probably reset you as well. The Shield of Thorns, Earthbud, Life Bloom. Well, I'd prefer Possessed by the Trickster God, and you probably won't need Striking Branches, so yeah, most likely we'll reset you. But for now, we'll wait. What about you? Sylvan Subtlety? It's okay if you use Way Watchers and Wildwood Rangers, but... What about units? Nothing interesting. What about branch rates? We got another Ancient Purist, and we got a Sapling Fury, which I don't care for. Let us delete you rather than reset you. We don't want to waste capacity. Actually, speaking of capacity, 15 out of 14. What? I didn't see any Glade Captain. Oh, yes, I did. I lied. What do you have? Lose the Enchanted Shield. You have the Coordinated Carnage, which is actually fairly nice. I was gonna put one of these in the Drakira army. Well then. What about you? You have Arahane, which I don't care for. Not that the campaign line of sight is bad, but vigor loss reduction only for the accompanying lord is terrible. If it was at least for the army, but no. You will go away as well, especially as we don't have capacity for you guys disband. Alrighty. I'm pretty sure we should be at... Huh? Only 15 out of 14. Yeah, we should be at 14 out of 14. Because our capacity increased with this. With the building here. So there must be another one somewhere. Aha! Yes, right here. I knew it. Alrighty, what do we have here? You have Spiritwood Sage, which is fine, but nothing interesting. What about you? You have Pathfinder, one of the good ones. Ah, isn't that lovely? Alright, so you will be of some use. Maybe to this army, maybe to other armies. What about you, Glade Captain? Ancient Rage, don't care for you. So you're going to be disbanded, and frankly, this entire army can go. There's no need of it. Although, the Deepwood Scouts, we could put them in this army if we wanted to. Although there's a decent likelihood that this guy just attacks them. You know what? Go right beside the Lion's Den. Might keep you for the turn. Get a sort of temporary army just to take these settlements. Huh, it looks like the Norskins have abandoned their territories here and are allowing the lizards to take them, which is fine, because it means we won't have to worry about the lizards, you know, doing the... or failing and dying, and I did want a military alliance with them. If we join the war against the Stormraven, We'd be able to pay you 4.6k. Okay, I'm gonna hope that we can do that next turn. Ish. Or maybe this turn, we'll see, I'll think about it. Keeper Delina, okay, wait. You don't need to move. Orion, Ellen Delling. Oh, I forgot where we were in the pile of units because I got so excited about the little Confederation. They're the last Confederation, mind you. Delsith is fine. Recruiter is fine. Wait, actually. Recruiter. Take a look at the ice court for a second. 86. Oh, would you please get frost worms? Come on. It's a tier 3 building. How do you not have one of them? Daughters of the Forest. I want to build the giant spiders and presumably eventually giant wolves for Draca, but that won't happen until you upgrade your building to tier 3 and until we get you to declare war on the Cult of Pleasure, so nothing for now. Tech Thief, you're the last? You're the last. Alright, fair enough. Go here. Another... Oh, that was 2 failures in a row. Come on now. Get this as well. Alrighty, then we've still got potential buildings to be buildified. Griffin Wood, we deleted something, presumably in order to replace it with something else. As to what that was, I'm not entirely sure. Most likely we'll still want defenses here. Yeah, let's go with the forest lookouts. That's probably what it was. And oh, for the love of a frickin' Vashnar's Conquest is back, and right beside Morgheim, which is which is a very nice landmark, but the garrison is garbage and pretty much non-existent. Do you hate us? You don't hate us. Oh, you were the one that was raiding. Oh, yeah, this army was, they were raiding these guys, but never declared war on them. And they're just gonna move into our land and presumably annoy us instead. I certainly wouldn't be surprised. Alrighty, well, it is what it is. Who is Alu again? Oh, right, one of you two. Alright, we'll sort of join them together next turn. I was doing the building. AVELORN. No need to build anything here because Orion is going to be here to reduce the costs shortly. Here, however, we will go for the Artisan's Nexus. Torgavan, again, Artisan's Nexus. A Dreaming Snarl. We will go for the... How many more turns, by the way? Spring 4, right? I'm wondering whether we can get Orion briefly to AVELORN. It's a possibility. As Sartorn, we should probably upgrade you, though 3.4k is expensive. And we will need the defenses here next, I believe. So let's go with forest lookouts. Alrighty. Arguelon, upgrade the forest patrols. Don't upgrade anything else, though. And I may even delete some buildings later. Haunted Forest, you are... Okay, there's nothing we can do there. Kazid Irkulas, we are probably not keeping, but for now, I think we'll just pop you into, I'm going to say, Sacrificial Grounds for the increased post-battle loot nearby. Shrine of the Last Smile. You we will probably delete and or transfer, so I don't care about you. And Montfort, oh, I was going to build the iron, and then I promptly forgot to build the iron. Come on, Ruinous, what are you doing, man? Alrighty, there we go. No more diplomacy, no more... Alright, there's a Frostblade Warden, but it needs to be a specific lord, so that's... I'm going to wait on that. Alright, skip. Did I besiege something, and then I was like, I'll come back to this later, and then did not do so. There is a distinct likelihood, not gonna lie. Alright, well, let's end the turn. Hopefully next turn we can declare war on these guys once we've moved enough away for the armies to join together. We besiege Silver Pinnacle, but that's with the idea that the enemy will sally out like so. They've got one use of Dreadquake Mortars. Oh, they have a Deathshriek rocket. Isn't that cute? Alrighty, here we go. A full stack of goblin laborers in addition to a pile of, well, maybe a half stack or so of their Chaos Dwarf Masters. This is actually a pretty solid sort of combination to attempt to overwhelm our army type, since the enemy has all of the goblin laborers, and on top of that, rather than using the more new or less numerous units of other types of laborers, every single one of these units has 260 models. We've had trouble with this particular army before running out of ammunition, and so perhaps the enemy is going to be able to rely on that. Anyway, we're going to start the battle out by trying to take out some of the critical units. Regardless of the shields, the Hawkeyes of Jakira will focus down the Chaos Dwarf blunderbusses, and we will have a couple of the other Way Watchers go after the Deathshriek rocket launchers. Surprisingly, the Deshrieks were and are in range of our dragon-riding lord there, but it's not attempting to fire upon them. Enemy lord will fall from the skies, and that looks like that's annoying enough for the enemy to start moving towards us, so fair enough. And they had a hero here as well, but as you can probably tell, no longer. There we go. And I can't tell. Oh, I was gonna say, is his face full of arrows? But no, it's just he fell right on the grass, and it looks like his face is full of arrows. But it may as well have been, and probably was until he died anyway. Anyway. Now that the enemy is annoyed enough to move towards us, we're going to start firing away and actually moving a lot of our army closer to them. And due to the sheer number of enemies here, we need to essentially use the entire length of the map to lead the enemy around while firing at them, in the hopes of bringing down sufficient units so as to, well, you know, not get wrecked by them if we're forced into melee. Nice dragon breath right into the midst of the enemy formation, dealing only about 30% damage to one of the Chaos Dwarf warriors, but also clipping several other units, which is quite nice here. I'm actually not sure whether it might be better to have our Lord Dragon Breath on as many of the sort of weak goblin laborers, just to reduce their numbers by a huge amount. On the other hand, again, shields and armor on the regular Chaos Dwarfs, and ooh, a very nice Arrow of Doom, Hail of Doom arrow, whatever, comes down into the blob of enemies here. I'm doing massive damage to everybody there. I like it a lot. And our will continue flying around and dodging fire from the hobgob archers and such while we continue firing into the enemy formations. They will continue to attempt to close, but of course are going to be far too slow to catch the Glade Riders, Sisters of the Thorn, Way Watchers, and Deepwood Scouts of both types as well. I'd keep this army as it is if it wasn't for the auto-resolve just being stupid about it. Like, obviously, crushing defeat against several Chaos Dwarfen army now attempts has been pretty darn silly, I gotta admit. But anyway, enemies still having to run the gauntlet and move towards us, though it does look like our Way Watchers at least are starting to run out of ammunition, down to about 20% on them. Still got plenty on our Cav and our Deepwood Scouts, however. But at the same time, the enemy still has plenty of units, though perhaps not so plenty of the elite-most units, with the balance of power now at about 85% in our favor, and the arrows still coming down upon them. I also do like that we have various different arrow types in this particular army, but with no starfire shafts, alas. Huh. Well, I wonder why there's no Glade Riders with starfire shafts. Like what? You can be a Glade Rider and use Hagbane tips, but you can't use starfire shafts. What's the logic behind this? I mean, I just find that strange. But oh well, not a big deal. They might have actually been too strong as a light cav unit if that was the case. I already like Glade Riders as they are. If they had the Starfire Shafts, magical armor piercing, it would be even stronger. Though I still think it would be very nice. Anyway. Mounts power is about 90% in our favor now. There's tactically not much to say about this particular battle. Just have to keep backing away and firing away at the enemy. RR is also working at the Chaos Dwarf blunderbusses in the background, making sure that those units that are routed stay routing, or otherwise get shattered. And if she gets hit by a few of the Hobgob archers, she's not going to take all that much damage, let's face it. Alrighty, well that's going reasonably well. We are very close to the edge of the map now, so we really need the rest of the enemy army to shatter. Hopefully a few more volleys will send them packing. And it certainly does look like a lot of arrows are required to bring down even a single Chaos Dwarf. And oh, how frustrating it must be for the elves to wait until like the last last few feet before the enemy closes the distance before backing out. And that unit of Chaos Warriors is out of the picture. Looks like our Way Watchers are out of ammunition at last. A little bit less than half ammunition on our Deepwood Scouts and our Sisters / Glade Riders, our range cav. Means I think the enemy has doomed. Full HP unit of Chaos Dwarf Warriors, but man, won't be full HP for too much longer. And ooh, looks like some of the Chaos Dwarf blunderbusses will actually fire right back at us. Well, we can do the same. There we go. And they may have shields and armor as well, but it won't be enough to survive the pin cushioning. And there we go with that. The enemy army shatters, and the battle is ours. And definitely very close to running out of ammunition, but that technology with the 25 ammunition is certainly paying for itself already. Alrighty, there we go. With 5.5 thousand units, the enemy almost had more bodies than we had arrows. Almost. Unfortunately for them, just not quite there, and we were able to destroy the enemy with comparatively little damage. We will have to auto-resolve what remains, so I think rather than the money, we're actually going to kill captives for the additional reload time, in the hopes that that sort of gives us additional benefits in the same said auto-resolve. 36,000 damage on the best performing Way Watchers, but obviously the Hawkeyes of Drakira now with magical damage. Absolutely insane. 722 kills and 92,000 damage. Though at 480 kills and 51k damage, Ara was doing very well as well. That's Dragon's Breaths plus Arrows of Kurnos plus the Hail of Doom Arrow, which I've actually been fairly impressed with over the course of the battles that we've had with her. It does quite a bit of damage, or at the very least more than I remember. Gotta remember to see if we can't get a couple of more of these and not delete them, obviously. Anyway, kill captives. And then hopefully we'll take the Silver Pinnacle next turn. Jiao Ming, what you want, buddy? Want us to join the war? How about we... Oh, we're already in a military alliance. Yeah, no. Unless Deathmaster Snitch walks right by us, in which case, yes. Very much yes.
Consider yourself lucky.
Hey Kit, you are still alive. Peace treaty, no.
Not since the coming of Morgan.
What do you want? Non-aggression pact? I mean, I guess we could. Deserters of Katep, you're allied with the Awakened. Not sure that there is too much value in it, though. I'm gonna say no for now. We'll see. It's not like they hate us or anything. And so I don't see them randomly attacking us. Mostly not our problem. Hey, unsurprisingly, Mr. Zajar Brain Besha will indeed attack Daretok. A Pyrrhic victory with high casualties, you say. Battle of Wood Elves and Orcs at Sea, neither one of which I expect to be the greatest mariners, but I'll find out. Go. Alrighty, here we go. Daretok, perhaps unexpectedly, having been sent now to deal with the orcs here, will face off against some of them at sea. And these are the Savage Orcs as well under Wurzag, so the damage, at least from the Hagbane tips, is going to be comparatively little. But unfortunately for the orcs, our Starfire Shafts are magical damage, and all the Forest Spirits are magical damage dealing as well. And I do like that the Malevolent Treekin, thanks to their frenzy, are up to a very solid 54 melee attack, matching their melee defense despite being a defensive unit. Anyway, Daretok moves forward to get his first Lamentation of Despairs out, and the arrows will come down on the poor unit of Savage Orc Boy Biggins that attempt to give chase. And it looks like the arrows are now giving chase to them and melting the unit away. Admittedly, though, look at the ammunition expenditure. That cost us about 15% ammunition on our entire cohort of range units, just to bring one unit down. And it's still quite a lot, considering how many more Savage Orcs there are to come. But what can you do? A unit of archers, or Night Goblin archers to be more specific, moves on in, but they will get torn to shreds a little significantly faster than the Boar Boy Biggins did. And it does look like, speaking of Boar Boys, the enemy cavalry, and just fast movers in general, are moving towards our flanks fairly long before the rest of the army arrives, which we should take advantage of. Daretok himself is going to close the distance, casting the Dwellers below, partly to slow the enemy down, and hopefully to damage them sufficiently so that they can't charge our flanks. Daretok will then meet them in combat himself, though it looks like the Boar Boys did start moving faster as soon as they got hit by the spell, and maybe I should have waited until the tree men closed the distance. Not that big of a deal though. The unit of Night God Squighoppers was destroyed, and these Savage Orc Boar Boys ain't surviving the ministrations of not one, but two tree men. Though it is going to take us a decent little bit of time to bring these guys down. 21k HP, that's basically double that of any Wood Elven unit. 8.8k on these guys, for example. I mean, they're range units, but the melee units for the Wood Elves don't have much more HP. They're all super fragile. And not that it's mattered much over the course of the campaign, as we've seen. Anyway, the main stack is moving towards us now. We are trying to focus down those critical units like the Bone Clubber Tribe, as we certainly don't want to fight them in melee if we can avoid it. The enemy does have plenty of monsters and monstrous infantry of their own, so the units of Treekin will have their work cut out for them, holding back the enemy trolls. Over on the right flank, we have another unit of Boar Boys who are being held back by a unit of Dryads, which are doing a fairly good job. In fact, they were winning against them, but now the Eagles have moved in, and they're going to make sure that the win turns out into, I guess, a decisive victory. Let's go with that. And Dertog has left the left flank at this point, and while our Branch Wraith leads one of the units of Malevolent Dryads to face off against the Night Goblin Big Boss and the Black Orc Big Boss, which is the regular Goblin Big Boss, but the two big bosses, basically. Dertog himself will move towards the Arachnarok or Catchwedge Spider Shrine of the enemy lord in order to deal with him. All the while casting to support the other units, of course. Over on the left flank, a second Dwellers Below will come down as the enemy did blob up nicely. We're going to back our Dryads off so that they don't get hit by our own Dwellers Below, and then send them right back into combat if needed afterwards, though the Bone Clubbers ain't having a good day of it either way. Mount's power has shifted to about 75% in our favor at this point. And our range units, perhaps surprisingly, are still firing away, though several of them are just about out of ammunition at this point. One of the Giants has actually managed to make its way through our lines and towards our range units, which is perhaps unsurprising, as this isn't a one-on-one in terms of army, and we just didn't have the melee units to block the Giant up. That's alright though, as the unit of Glade Guard will keep it pinned in place in melee for a little while the other units of Glade Guard make sure to pin cushion it. Slowly but surely, considering we got 10 ward save, 10 physical, and 50% missile resistance. It looks like the enemy lord and the Arachnarok are just about done, and will turn and rout, and with the Goblin Great Shaman, the enemy army will shatter, the Giant will fall, probably crushing a few of the poor Glade Guard beneath its bulk, but with that, the battle is ours. Very, very nice. Alright, and since, well, I guess, yeah, we're going to have to chase this enemy down. They attacked us, so they will back away with whatever units remain. Fortunately, as we've seen many a time already, the units of Eagles are very good at dishing out damage and chasing things down, whether it be single entities or multiple entities. Gotta love those Eagles. Alright, there we go. A very, very nice fight, but it's pretty much always a very nice fight for Dertog. I really just enjoy his army. It's very nicely balanced with a lot of tier 1, I mean, all tier 1, all tier 2 units up here, and then only a few units of tier 3 and a couple of tier 4s. It's a very, very nice army. Anyway, we've got very solid work out of Dertog as always. 64k damage, 17k in the Branch Wraith. The Eagles were both instrumental, with the Greagles slightly beating out the Perch Guardians there. And, oh, I never named the Malevolent Treemen in this army. Huh. Oh, I guess because I was going to trade them, but at the same time, we do have Winter's Bite and Poison Sumac on the Dryads, with the Winter's Bite getting a solid 15k as well. Very nice. But anyway, we will, unless I take the money, I wouldn't dislike some of the healing, but at 3.7k, that seems a little bit much to say no to. Elman Gorst, you just lost your capital to us suddenly appearing in it. No peace treaty though, buddy. I think you're doomed. Though I do see Gorst himself in the distance. I wonder if he has the metal to defeat Mr. Goldenface. Balthazar Gelt, that's the one.
You have been granted
And, okay,
access
why does
to the
everybody want to
halls of
talk today? Join war, yeah, we will, but just give it a minute.
The woods of AVELORN, well,
Now you want an alliance, and a military alliance at that. I'm a little bit concerned about the fact that the lizards don't like you very much, but hopefully that's not such a bad thing. And Death Sword's Warband will... Okay, that's pretty funny. And just as we got into the alliance with them, yeah, sure, enter war. And they might even sail down to us, who knows, we might have to deal with that. What do you want? You want us to join war against Stormraven? Everybody wants us to join against the Stormraven. Why can't some of you at least deal with one minor Norscan problem yourselves? They're completely surrounded by enemies. Bretonia, Wood Elves, what are you? Empire, Lizardmen, more Empire, High Elves, tiny little Norscan faction. How are you failing at this? All of you. Every single one of you disappoints me. Enemy killed in battle, sacrifice, ally mission, garrison commander for oh, it's for defensive battles. He'll eventually be able to get impenetrable wall, which is actually a very, very nice trait. So, yeah, free talisman. Ready for duty, Sestashal. Ah, yes, you're Draika's pet, aren't you? Draika, were you not... Huh. I could have sworn you weren't suffering attrition, but now you have, and it... like that. I wonder if these guys are going to be able to take Plusk. Wait, were you Draika's pet? Because I'm now seeing that Drake has Trellan here. I think one of these dryads was... Yeah, okay, I think that's what it was. Tech Thief is back up and running. Daith is back up and running. Sithara is now researched. Forced invasion begins. Forced invasion imminent. Wait, this one's imminent. Which one began? Damn it. Oh, which one began? Okay, wait. Let me just go back to that for a second. Forced invasion begins. Oh, there's another one. Oh, I didn't even see that there was one out here. Well, at least they're not at war with these guys, so we'll be fine, I'm sure. You, Orion, are going to march stance all the way out here. I guess we're going to... Well, okay, we'll see if they can move or whether they have to stand still. Somebody's going to have to deal with them, and that's probably you, sir. But if we can stop by at Gaian's Vale, that would also be nice. Anyway, Draika, back to you for a second. So, first of all... I guess we can occupy... Oh, I'm not paying 10k for that, screw you. There's basically nothing here. Okay, so we'll go to Yechich instead, like so. And... medium casualties. A bunch of laborers, medium casualties. I get that we're damaged, but come on. Now, what if we do this, and then... this, and then this. Will this increase in any way or decrease rather, the casualties that we're likely to pick up here? And now it'll kill one. Okay, I'll do that between the episodes. It's ridiculous. It's a bunch of laborers. It's absolutely insane. Either way, though, Prague has to be returned to these guys. Do we want to maybe finish the stonecutter first? Yeah, fine. We'll finish that, and then we'll return to them next turn. How are we doing out here? So, Ayanar seems to have not moved, which means Tower of Crack is now open for destruction. Snitchy is still here. Serena Catron probably trying to defend against Ayanar, and alright. I'm willing to bet they won't be able to steal the Zotes. Why? Because we now have 2 more heroes. We just gotta give them young stags and then reduce the enemy, or reduce the enemy ability to... Where are the young stags? Seduce minus 20 in. Here. As soon as that one's done moving.
I share the forest's thoughts.
Why do you deselect? Come on. Young stag. There we go. That's a minus 80% between the two of them. Not that we're super likely to need that again, as, you know, we're not going to be encountering too many Slaneshi, I'm betting, but nonetheless. And you, in the meantime, go through striking branches. How are our stats looking? 71, 76, 34. Oh, I guess the Slaneshi corruption is reducing our armor. No, what's reducing our armor? Huh. By a fair bit, too. I don't know. But it should be 50, not 34. I wish it would say what this is. Not that I care over much. Anyway, what do we have here? Still? Well, that's irritating. Alright, fine, fair enough. We'll besiege it. And they will then seduce us, I guess, but what we can get by besieging is probably force ANR into a march stance and have both of them attack us rather than attack Serena Catrid. I think that's the better way to do it. Alright, so you guys sit there. Sceolan. I was... Oh. Ha, Morger. Not doing anything. Good. It's your defeat trait that we wanted. You're gonna run? I guess he didn't know what to do because the only stack that they have is that one. Either way, a plus 30% missile resistance is just swell. There we go, 25% missile resistance, still very, very good. You can now... Wait, if you march... You can march stance here, but then you'll suffer attrition. This is poorly defended, admittedly. Wait, this is our own territory? Yes, we wouldn't want to raid it. Alright, fine. Suffer a turn of attrition, go to Brion, I guess. Minus 15. Actually, if we go right to the edge of our own territory, I'm willing to bet the next turn we will be able to decorruptify the place to a sufficient degree that we won't suffer any attrition. Does anything here need to be fought? That one's a little bit weak. I kind of wanted to get Durthu's new army, you know, the chance to do Durthu things. 1 point, okay, not bother. No need to bother with leveling that. Alright, let's fight these guys. Oh wow, we are out of time and I didn't realize. Nonetheless, I want to fight this, so we're gonna fight this, deal with it. Alright, go there, and I don't want reinforcements. I want you to fight without any additional troops. Like so. They got the Bloodshriek Chimera, the Scourge of Arden, and we've got the Three Sisters of AVELORN. Go. Alrighty, gotta love when the sky and just the lighting and everything matches your units. Very, very nice with Durthu and the sort of fall colors that he's got going on. Together with the Firebark Elders. Anyway, this is the debut of the Sisters of AVELORN, and we got 3 of them in our army now, and a fairly decently strong contingent of range units together with them and the Grove Guardians, who, thanks to all of these buffs, are now at 4.0 reload time. Isn't it lovely? Since this is the debut of our range army, we're going to sit back and see how well they do at dishing out a little bit of damage. Not going to snipe anybody, and admittedly the Beastmen will close the distance fairly fast. Lovely to have additional fire arrows in this army as well that aren't of the Starfire Shaft variety. Again, I feel like it makes more sense that since the Durthu either doesn't trust or doesn't trust himself with other Wood Elves, that might make a small exception for some Sisters of AVELORN. Maybe. It's a possibility. Anyway, looks like the enemy decides to make sure to silence those bows and touches down with its flying units. The Scourge of Arden leads 2 units of Harpies to attack the Sisters, but unfortunately for them, we simply activate the Shield of Thorns and prevent significant damage, while Durthu rapidly beats down the Scourge of Arden, which has no chance of doing all that much work. It does, however, prevent the Grove Guardians from firing, and the fact that our range units were blobbed up does allow the enemy to pop an upgraded Devolve on top of them. And for those that watch the Beastmen campaign, you will have seen that you can do a ton of damage in just spamming Devolve and... not Vile Tide, the other AoE ability. Vile Entropy, was it? Well, either way. The balance of power has shifted about 90% in our favor. The enemy has closed the distance with our melee units and range units at this point. And once again, the Blade Singers are fighting very, very well together with the Treekin. And again, with a little bit of fire damage thanks to that Searing something that they've got on them. Searing Flame. You know what, I probably could have figured that one out. Anyway, with that, the enemy army shatters, and the battle is ours. Oh, okay, now. For a second, the Centaurs looked like they weren't going to, shatter. So I'm wondering, yeah, with the banishment on the Sisters of AVELORN, might combine nicely with Flocks of Doom and range spells. Got to keep that in mind for when enemy armies approach in the future. Anyway, a very nice fight, and I'm excited to see what Durthu can do against that proper enemy stack that will actually offer a potential challenge. All right, there we go. A nice little fight. Between the Sisters of AVELORN and the Waystalker, we now have the Grove Guardians with great bows down to their minimum reload rate, which is or maximum rate, minimum time, which is pretty good and one of the things I wanted, since where they're the only one of Durthu's unique units that we got. Otherwise, it seems that the Beastmen really wanted to knock out the Sisters of AVELORN, but it does make sense. They were doing a fair bit of damage with their magical fiery arrows, and this army is now fierier than it was before, which is also good. Here we will... Let's see, 1k is not that much. I'm going to say kill captives. Just for the additional movement range, which is also not much, but it's something. And we do still have the presence of the Vamps out here. And Vlad's taken the Heathland up in the mountains. Honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that he'll inevitably declare war on us, I would have loved to have allied with him and let him keep the Empire, but it is what it is. Anyway, with that, we're out of time, and I'm going to call the episode here. Another one of Deathmaster Snitch's armies. I wonder if he's going to declare war on us and take this little settlement. Be a little bit annoying considering we don't have armies out there, but again, we don't really care about all these little territories. And yeah, these guys have decided not to raid the much richer territories that they hate, and they hate each other. They're instead going to raid us and presumably eventually declare war on us. However, Ashnar is a really nice army, so that should be a really nice fight for somebody at some point, hopefully soon. Before I forget, also auto-resolve this and raise it, I assume? Only 3k. Well, I wasn't going to keep it anyway because I wanted a barrier. Where are you going? Oh yeah, go into the territory of the chaos corruption. Yeah, good job. Okay, well, go into ambush just in case. Who knows, maybe this guy will mosey on over. Either way, with that, like I said, we're out of time, and I'm going to call it here. Next time, we will continue, hopefully, alright. We will continue, hopefully.
A pleasure and an honor.
I should have had you join the war. Yeah, whatever. We got other things to trade. Continue, hopefully restoring Kislev. Maybe take down the Tower of Crack once this guy moves in so that we destroy their faction for good. And then we will hopefully get another nice couple of big fights against Chaos with Orion's Wild Hunt. And I forgot to do it this episode, so we'll probably do the Spear Kurnas next episode as well. So stay tuned for all that. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, as they will determine the length of the campaign going forward. All glory to the algorithm. Thanks for watching.